everyone. We are going to paint our Snow in Love Let It Snow round today. I have our 16-inch round background piece here ready to go, and I'm going to use the baby wipe method today. I'm using French linen, so I'm gonna dip my baby wipe down into some paint, and I'm going to just give it a good wipe. I like to see the wood grain show. You can, of course, paint this with a paintbrush or a roller and have a more complete opaque coverage. This baby wipe that I pulled out first is a little drier, so I might have to switch to another one. Generally, I only use one or two when I'm painting. We will get a little bit of moisture here. I'm just gonna dip it into some water. If you don't have baby wipes at home, you can always use some paper towels in a pinch to do the same type of thing. Our Annie Sloan chalk paint is water-based, so it works great. You definitely can do a variety of techniques for your background. If you want, you can sand this when you're finished. I'm going to set it aside to dry while we do our other pieces, and then we will take a look at it. Sometimes I sand because the moisture in the baby wipes will raise the grain of the wood a little bit, so you get a little bit of some like fuzzy type things. So every little project is different. You kind of just need to move on with it and see how it looks. Every piece of wood takes paint or stain a little bit differently, and you may need to give it a second coat. It's really just your preference of what you want it to look like. So I know I might be shaking the camera there a little bit. Okay, I'm good with that, and I'm gonna let it dry and maybe add some more or give it a good sand. Okay, I'm gonna bring in some of our pieces. Prior to the video, I did the scarf and the hat brim sections with the Provence, the teal. Then I took some white and mixed it into that to get a little lighter shade for our words. I'm simply taking our foam brush here, and I'm just going to go in an up and down motion. We say this all the time. If you're new to doing our take-home kits, it is really important to go in an up and down motion so that you can have nice clean edges on your 3D wood pieces. So that's all there is to it. I just did that with a mixture of the Provence, the teal, and some white. I also took the end of my foam brush and gave some stripes onto the scarf pieces, okay? So we'll set those aside. I'm going to then take some white. I pre-painted the little snow piece. I started on my snowflakes and my snowmen. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get white on my brush. I'm wiping off the excess so I don't have a whole lot on my brush. I'm going to go in an up and down motion with the side of my foam brush, and that will give me some nice coverage. I move it around and just hold it down with my fingernail. You could hold it down with a toothpick or a plastic fork, or if you use stencil vinyl, one of the little pickers, okay? So we'll let those dry. I started my snowman already. He has, if you can tell in the camera, a tiny bit of texture. It looks much more textured when it's wet. And I think that's why some people think that they need to brush it like this. But I feel like you get a lot more streaks when you do that brushing method, where if you just get some paint and do that up and down motion, you can get nice coverage. It does look like it has a lot of texture when it's wet, but give it a chance to dry and you will see that it does flatten out some. So I'm just getting this all over. I previously did the other snowman and the face of this one so that we could do the eyes and mouth while we had dry paint. So there we go. I did not go the whole way up on his hat. I just went up a little bit for where his hat band will cover it. I'm gonna switch back to my teal and white mixture. I have a little bit of that I'm going to put on his hat. I'm not worrying about where I'm stopping because it's going to get covered with his hat brim. I just want to make sure that I have it down far enough so that it will be covered completely. Okay. Our other snowman, our little miss, I already got part of her features done. We did red on her heart and her earmuffs. And I mixed red with some white to make a nice pink for the scarf. You can see I put some orange polka dots on there as a little extra touch. They don't show up too well. I might add some extra in there after we get done here. I did the polka dots actually with the end of my little paintbrush here, which I'm also going to use for the face. I did the noses in orange. Super glue. The super glue we put in our kits does have that little knob on the end of the tube. You're going to use it to puncture the tube, and then you want to carefully open that up so that you can use it. This one's already glued. I'm going to glue my other guys. Carrot nose on. A little bit will do you. You do not need to use a ton of glue. So I'm gonna get his nose glued on there and then we'll do his face here in just a second. I'm gonna put on her earmuffs, a couple drops, and we'll position that one on this side. You can see that I took my mixture of pink and made the top of the earmuffs. Don't mind my messy fingers. A couple more drops on the other side of her earmuffs. And we will get that one on there. I think I might need a little more white on that side. Get a little more white in there. Earmuff glued on. Okay. Alrighty, there she is. Move her out of the way for a sec. Okay. For our faces, I simply used black paint. You get a cup of black paint in your kit. And I'm just taking the end of the paintbrush and I'm giving him two eyes, and I'm just sort of simulating a rough circle because we know coal is not going to be exactly perfect circle. You can definitely do some circles if you want instead, but I'm just kind of tapping it in place. I'm doing his mouth by starting at the bottom, and then I'm going to smile him by just gradually curving my coal pieces up. Something just like that. Okay. I'm going to then take his hat brim, a few dots across his hat brim, And I'm going to put that in place so that it matches up there. Okay. I could add some stripes to his hat brim like I did with my scarf by just simply using the end of my foam brush. Okay, it's pretty simple. Okay, I'm going to give him his scarf. Couple drops there, couple down the side. And position that about so. Okay, the other piece of his scarf will not touch at the bottom. It just needs the glue up here at the top. Like so. You're gonna have to be careful while this is drying. His eyes are quite wet, so you need to make sure that you give it plenty of time before you attach it to your round so he's nice and dry. Okay, so we've got all of our pieces painted. I'm gonna make some room here and bring back my round. Okay. Sometimes I like to give it a little bit of a sand. I know that sound is kind of not fun probably in the video, but you guys get the idea here. Okay, get rid of my dust from my paint. I'm not going to glue this all completely during the video because I want to make sure that I get it all nice and straight. I am going to talk before I glue the front about the hanging mechanism. So in your kit, you will have a piece of wood that has a section on the back that will attach to your round. This is where I would use more glue than I would ever use on the front. I want to make sure this is good and attached. We are going to take this piece and we are going to put it at the top of our round. You can do this after you place your pieces on the front. You just want to make sure that it is centered. Okay, so we have that on. Whoopsie, didn't put enough pressure on that. Okay, give it another second there. Super glue is tricky. You want to be real careful when you open it up. Sometimes it sticks immediately when you drop it in the wrong place, but when you need it to, it doesn't always stick right. There we go. Okay, so you've got your hanger. You can make this as long as you would like it to be. You can pull this through and simply tie yourself a knot underneath here. And then you can go back and change the length of it later if you need it to do whatever, okay? So that's good to go. When we go on to the other side, we're going to place all of our pieces where we want them before we glue anything. So we've got our snow down at the bottom. We've got our Mrs. Snowman. I did not glue her scarf yet. I want to make sure I have all of these in here before we get going in the right place. Okay, there would be her connection with the mister. So yeah, you want to make sure that you have enough room. You might need to tuck her scarf under his so you can get it positioned where you need it to be. Okay, and then the arms are the most important part. So I did paint them with brown. His arms are going to come up just at the edge of his body, over the top of his hat. Same with her. Hers are going to be on the edge of her body and right on the edge of her earmuffs. So you'll be gluing them there, here, here, and here. They are lifted up off of your round, but once you have that super glued in place, they will be fine. Isn't that adorable how they make that little heart and you can kind of just adjust them so that you have them all in the right place. You've got some snowflakes to choose from for positioning, perhaps there, maybe here, maybe a big guy over there. We've got our words. Oops, I think I gotta drop a super glue on that guy. Let it snow. And of course our heart. Okay, super cute. I really love this one. I am going to, I think maybe do a little more sanding to my background, and then I will get this all glued together. And the finished picture is of course posted on our website and our Facebook page. So I just love this snow in love couple. Thanks, guys.